What's going on, YouTube? It's okmall. In today's build guide, we're covering the recent build I did utilizing Hilda with a dagger and a buckler as well as a crossbow. Now, this build was super fun to play and did manage to clear the tier 5 dungeons as well as both the manticore and the troll without too much of a hassle. Now, quick disclaimer, I did go to those tier 5s a little later in the game, I think around 20 plus. But still, we were trying to play it a little safe. We didn't want to die. But by the time I did manage to get into those dungeons, super, like I said, pleasantly surprised on how well the build did. A quick overview as to what this build is all about. It is mainly going to be based on the dagger and this an aristocrat shield, essentially like a buckler. Yeah, aka the Duckler, right? It's chat named it's code named it the Duckler. I love it. Absolutely love it. But we're going to have a lot of counter chance with this particular build. And we're also going to have a decent amount of range damage with the crossbow on their offhand. So we can deal a lot of damage to enemies before they even get to us. And then by the time they do get to us, they're done. We do so much damage with our dagger and the ability to counter constantly. It's great. Our dagger skill, double lunge, doesn't normally have very much cooldowns. It's already gotten to 6, and every time we counterattack, it gets even lower. Just amazing when you pair that together with the quick hands ability. So let's first start off with the stats that we unlocked with this character. We went off, I think we started with perception, get it up to 15, and then we popped over to agility to 15, back over to perception to get it up to 20, agility up to 20, and then we were debating on if we were going to 25 and 25, but instead we went for strength. Give us a little bit more weapon damage, more block percentage, as well as that body part, crit efficiency, and armor damage. So for this build especially, having perception and agility really helps out with elusiveness. So we get dodge through agility, but we also get dodge through elusiveness with the perception, right? Because the dodge chance here scales with perception, giving us plenty of chances to dodge with this particular skill. I just keep on moving my camera and it's making me upset. But yeah, so we get a lot of dodge off of that. But being the fact that we do have a shield, we also would love to block a little bit. And if you look over, we have the Quillian dagger, which also gives us counter, block chance, block power, and bleed chance. I was torn between this one and the parrying dagger. I went with this one because it has a higher bleed chance, even though it has a lower counter. But as you can probably tell and notice, we have a 70% base counter chance, which is insane. That is a lot of counter, just, you know, a natural amount of counter at least. So this works out really well. If we go on down, we have 134% base weapon damage. It's got a couple of reasons why, and I'll cover that in a bit, but Ancestor's Gaze is one of them. I'll show you another skill that's given us another 10%. And Athletics Peak Performance gives us 10% more weapon damage. Now this build doesn't really lack in energy. We have a lot of energy recharge through our skills, as well as I got super lucky and got this cursed here, which gives us 15% energy drain. If you don't unfortunately get lucky to have something like that, I would probably put energy drain maybe on your dagger. That might help you keep your energy levels a little bit higher. But yeah, so a lot of weapon damage there. Hands efficiency comes from the agility, body part damage, armor damage, 30% armor penetration. Accuracy, we're no slouch either, 105%. The moment you pop offensive tactics, you got even more. 20% base crit chance, 48 crit efficiency, plus the fact that we're daggers, we get an additional 50%, I believe it is, every time we crit, so it's huge damage. Counters are awesome. Like I said, we usually get our counter up to 100% without a problem, especially if you use the deadly trick skill. Swap places, you're going to get a hell of a lot of counter off of that too. Skill energy cost very low. Ability energy cost you can sell very low. Cooldowns isn't that high either. It's 76%. So yeah, we can spam our skills quite often. Bonus vision is 13. Sorry, bonus range is 2. Vision is 13. Our bleed chance is 25.2. We do have life drain. So this particular build, I am basing it on Hilda. So you can probably make this build work with another character, but keep in mind the order of operations for which I select my skills is based on what I needed for her, so she can get increase her bone charm a little bit faster. But this is the bone charm. We got weapon damage on that one, life drain and dodge, as we had talked about earlier. 10% from the athletic skill, plus another 9% here, plus another 1.5 from there. It's insane. It's insane. Moving on down. Health 122, health restoration 12%, 110% healing efficiency, energy at 108, energy restoration at 28, average protection of 7, but average block chance of 36 with 28 block power. Dodge chance is 63, and I believe that is solid 63. Yeah, it's not because we're moving around. So 63 base dodge chance. The moment you pop elusiveness is 123%. So pretty insane. We were really pretty tanky, considering. Crit avoidance, 7%, fortitude 19, bleed 32, control 27, move 38%. Pain resistance negative 15, fatigue, sure, yeah. We have negative fatigue because of this, but we also have a lot of control, some health. It's solid, regardless of it being a tier 3. The energy drain is massive. Damage taken whenever this pops, it's 73%. Let me move around a little bit so I can show you what it is normally. 100%. Okay, that's what I thought. Physical resistance is 19, 23, 23. Obviously, if we popped elusiveness again, wait for it. There. You get up even higher. 35% for that magical resistances. Another thing I wanted to pop real quick and show you guys. Why is my counter down to 55%? Okay, maybe my counter's at 55% normally. I don't know why it was so high before. It's confusing. Well, at any rate, it's 75 now. I don't know. It was at 70%. I don't get it. Roy, I swapped my weapon around, I believe. That's probably what it did. Now it's at 90. You see that? Okay, so yeah, I swapped my weapon. That's why I got up there. I keep on forgetting of this skill. Quick hands gives you like 15% if you if you swap weapons. So that makes sense. But yeah, 90% counter there. So that should cover the stats. Now we'll do an overview of the skills, and then I'll cover what levels I would kind of recommend or roughly recommend you get those. So if we look at the daggers, quick hands. Obviously, this one's going to help you reduce all of your dagger cooldowns with each successful dagger strike, counters included. If you swap to a loadout with a dagger, so if you go for your crossbow to your dagger, you're going to gain 15% counter chance and 5% crit chance for 3 turns. Double lunge, we all know it's the same idea. It does pretty hefty weapon damage plus 90% body part damage. If the skill hits its target or both strikes deal damage, it'll also reduce the skills cooldown. This skills cooldown by 3. Then we have Gaping Wound, deliver a strike with armor penetration and high bleed chance. If the target is injured or bleeding, will cause them to Gaping Wound, and Gaping Wound increases damage done to the target. From the Shadows, also another great skill, increases the damage those enemies take by 33%. And obviously if they're unaware or confused, hence why we'll get War Cry, that's going to help us do even more damage. Then you have Deadly Trick. This one is to increase counter chance as well as swap places and deal extra weapon damage, crit chance, and energy drain to the targets. This skill here, crit chance, crit efficiency, weapon damage, bleed, you know, it's a stance, it's awesome. Counterattack mastery I found was really helpful. Considering we counter so much, that means that dagger strikes will constantly increase our counter, stacking up to 4 times, so it's another 20%. Dagger strikes do an additional 33%. I've had some counters deal like 130, 150 damage. Insane. Danse Macabre. This one here, critical dagger strikes will grant a dodge chance. So it's just more chances to dodge whenever you crit. And we do crit quite often in this particular build. Moving on down the line. This here is something we did after the fact. We really didn't benefit much from these other skills. I could have lived without them. It's kind of like when your build is basically done and you needed extra skills and you wanted to play around with it a little bit, that's when we started putting points into the rest of the range. But 90% of the game that we were playing in this one, we did taking aim and dexterity. So taking aim, obviously, we're going to be hunting as Hilda. We're trying to get some trophies to increase her bone charm. Dexterity, that's straightforward. If we're attacking somebody and we switch from our crossbow to our offhand, it's going to be a free turn so we can start buffing up before the enemies get to us. Then when we went down this route, the only thing we wanted to do was unlock Hunter's Mark. This one will apply the enemies with, apply us with Thrill of the Hunt, and then apply the enemies with Hunter's Mark. And then allow us, let's see, switching to another loadout doesn't remove the effects, allowing us to deal even more damage with our daggers. So it's kind of hand in hand with that. And yeah, worked out pretty decent towards the end of the game, but I wouldn't say it's like imperative that you go this route. It's just kind of like an extra skill point to add in. Moving down, we thought about potentially getting Raise the Shield for the additional 20% counter chance when utilizing a shield. Come to find out, we really didn't need to. Down the line here, Warfare. I probably could have took up Tactical Advantage. That would have been pretty helpful at some points in the game, but we didn't need it. But if you all see a need for this and you want to swap something out for another, you can do that 100%. There was War Cry, and then there's Intimidation. I thought about getting Intimidation as well, just for those negative crit avoidances against the enemy, considering that counters would be successful strikes and shots, right? So it'd be easy to get them up to 5 stacks. Moving on down, Athletics, Disengage, Dash is great. Elusiveness, we're dodgy builds. That's one of our biggest damage mitigators. Coming on down, we had to go through all of these skills to unlock Peak Performance, and I found a hell of a lot of utility with the Sudden Lunge. The cooldown on it is actually quite low. If you look over here, see that? It's like 3 turns. So between that skill, swapping places, double lunging, and then doing it again, I mean, three turns cooldown is immense. Peak Performance, weapon damage, dodge chance, cooldowns, all good things. Armored Combat, didn't need any in Armored Combat. We barely take any damage to our gear, so this is the most richest, I guess, build I've ever had. It's insane. Underneath Survival, obviously, as you're playing as Hilda, you get this skill unlocked automatically. We got Pathfinder, not as soon as we could, but pretty dang close. I think level 3 or 4, we got Pathfinder unlocked. Huntmaster shortly after. And that's about it for the build. As far as gear is concerned, this is what we have. So we were doing counter, and we're doing lower cooldowns-ish. So this one comes with counter chance of 7%. Also comes with cooldowns of -5. This one comes with counter, dodge, as well as block, power recovery, and counter chance, right? Cooldowns, counter, all that fun stuff. This one comes with crit chance, crit efficiency, and dodge. We're going pretty heavy to dodge, so that was imperative. We got that too. This one had dodge. It's one of the best ones we can get. Tier 5 boots. You're going to go with those typically. Again, I probably would have swapped this out for something else, but this worked out really well. I was not going to pass this up with that energy drain. Otherwise, you might have to get energy drain on your dagger. Because I still think that life drain, weapon damage, and dodge chance works out pretty well for the bone charm. You could swap one of these out for maybe the dodge chance, swap it out for negative damage taken. Up to you on that one. Here we have just these simple silver emeralds. Gives us a little bit of health restoration, maximum health. The health restorations is pretty nice when you're life draining. That way you can restore a little bit more from there. The negative fumble wasn't really needed for this build. I'm pretty sure without these, we have like 0% fumble chance, yeah. So, not necessary. Now, for the gloves, I went for these because they give us a little bit more nature resistance, physical resistance. But you could swap these out for the Tide gloves. Those ones give you crit efficiency. That's going to be pretty hefty. 15% additional crit efficiency on top of this. You'll be hitting even harder. And then we have, again, comes back down to these two weapons, or well, this shield and this weapon here. We want those high counters. That's the whole point of this. So I went with the Aristocrat one. I think it's the highest counter chance light shield in the game right now. And then this one wasn't the best for counter chance. Like I said, I already talked about this earlier. The parrying dagger was the one that has the highest, but this one has more bleed chance. Choose what you think is best, but they're both gonna be basically the same. As you noticed earlier, counter is going to be high regardless. 2% extra isn't going to make or break you. Switching over to the offhand, we're talking about this being a having a crossbow for ranged support. So this Garrison crossbow worked out really well. It hits hard. It's got a decent range of 9. Obviously, we have a bonus range of 2, so make it 11 range in total. It would be nice if we had an additional, like, if we could shoot from 13, because that's our total vision, and have range of 13, that'd be great. But for 35 weapon damage, this one was not a slouch at all. That is basically it. Covering the bone charm one last time. It's life drain, it's weapon damage, it's dodge chance. Life drain is from the Gulons, dodge chance is from the Harpies, weapon damage, that's from the Bears. The next thing we're going to cover is what skills to get at each level up. Now, this isn't one for one exactly the way I did it, but in hindsight, this is just some suggestions I can think of that would maybe make the build work a little bit better and progress more smoothly. So here we have level 1 through 27. At level 1, I would just recommend just going for the ranged weapons. That way your crossbow, you can just use taking aim with it. We are going to do a lot of hunting, so having taking aim to allow us to kill these wildlife to increase our bone charm is nice. Dexterity, which is the second one here, that allows us to swap to our offhand for free. Very, very lovely skill. Plus, it reloads our crossbow the next time we need to reload, or so the next time we swap off to our crossbow to kill the next following enemies. We also get resourcefulness unlocked automatically as Hilda. Now, if you're going to copy this build as someone other than Hilda, keep in mind this is not unlocked automatically, meaning you have to swing that in there somewhere else, because I still recommend getting at least these 3 skills. Now, this is the part on Hilda that's a little bit different. She doesn't start off with daggers. My recommendation is to walk all the way down to Manshire and buy daggers from Gerlot, which is the general goods merchant down there. I know it's going to take some time to get down there and make this happen, but I still recommend doing it. I tried to play the cheap route, and I suffered heavily for it. I didn't want to spy her gear, so I just used her spear with nothing else unlocked except for these 2 skills. And I saved for my dagger skills for the first, like, 3 dungeons, all the way down to Bryn, all the way back to Manshire before I finally bought dagger skills. I wouldn't recommend doing that. So do yourselves a favor, get your dagger skills unlocked as soon as you can. With that being said, I'm going to assume you guys have unlocked dagger skills right away, and you're knocking out the first couple of dungeons and you're leveling up. Level 2, you're going to get double lunge. Level 3, quick hands. It's pointless to have quick hands if you don't have a skill to decrease the cooldown. So start off with an attack skill here. At level 4, this skill here should be unlocked if I counted correctly. Grab up Pathfinder. It's going to help you with finding creatures out in the wild, so that way you can do some more hunting, as well as enemies inside a dungeon, so that you're not walking into a trap of like 5 or 6 enemies on you. At level 5, we're going to grab this skill up to increase the odds that we get trophies from our kills. Because we are Hilda, we're trying to get that bone charm increase. I can't say it enough. Level 6, you may as well go ahead and get some more damage. So we'll grab up from the shadows. It's going to help us increase the dagger skill damage. At level 7, you can get Gaping Wound. I would also say you could probably get Warcry, but keep in mind, if you get Gaping Wound at level 8, we can also get this stance. If you instead opt to get Warcry and then Gaping Wound, you have to wait until level 11 to get this skill here, because I still recommend at level 10 automatically getting this unlocked and having dash for the tier 2, possibly tier 3 dungeons that you're going to be doing. Then we're back into it. Level 11, again, we already talked about it. That's Warcry. At level 12, it gets a little convoluted as to which direction to actually take, but I went ahead to probably get Opportune Moments. And then 13, 100%, we need a defensive maneuver. So we're going to get elusiveness unlocked. Then at 14, we're going to pop over. We're going to get offensive tactics. This is going to help us get that accuracy up, increase crit chance, cooldown duration. It's going to be great. At level 15, we can probably unlock Deadly Trick. This is a great skill. Very strong, very powerful. Increases our counter chance even further. Then as soon as you have Deadly Trick, it will unlock Counter Attack Mastery. And as mentioned before, every dagger strike will increase your counter chance, which is awesome. Then from 16, we pop over, we get 17 and 18, so we have defensive tactics. Helps us a little bit more for our defenses when we go start diving into higher tier dungeons. Now, from here, I want to get this one unlocked as soon as possible. Love this skill a lot. Well, it's a passive, but I love this one a lot. So I think it automatically unlocks at 22. I don't think we can unlock it with the skills that we're putting into place. So 19, 20, 21, 22. At level 22, you now have access to this skill. Amazing. At level 23, we can get Danse Macabre. Now this one here says that critical strikes will increase our dodge and also apply the enemy with more damage taken and less bleed resistance. And then from there, it's up to you. Like, the build's basically done. We decided, me and chat, I guess, decided that we're going to go down here and grab this skill. We talked about it earlier. If you have this one and we use that with our offhand, with our crossbow, and we apply the enemies with Hunter's Mark, it will help us in melee when they get close to us. When you stack that with painful stabs, with offensive tactics, it's gonna hit like a truck, okay? All right, y'all, that covers it for the build. And if you guys want to see this thing in action, I will leave a link for Tier 5 Undead, Proselyte, and Human Dungeons in the description below. So if you guys want to take this on and try it yourself or see what it looks like in action, you can click those links and watch it for yourselves. And if you guys do try this build out, I want to hear you guys' thoughts and opinions about it. Maybe you find as much enjoyment as I did, and I hope you all do, because I think this one really just fits the bill. It does a really, really good job in the late game, 100%. It was even smooth throughout the beginning and mid game. It was good all around. Let's be honest. It was solid all around. But as always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share the channel with your friends and family. I'll catch y'all next time. Bye.